Name one hobby that makes these women from around our state go absolutely wild.
It's completely an obsession.
It's an addiction.
Tonight, come along and find out just how nutty Minnesotans are for scrapbooking. This amazingly popular pastime isn't just about putting pictures in a book.
I've seen women stay up all night.
See why this cozy Minnesota retreat for scrappers only is in big demand.
And I thought to myself, what is it that people like so much?
People are passionate about these personal keepsakes. See how these two women started a Minnesota company that sells albums around the world. Just about anyone can learn to love this way of life. Hear about the new movie this Twin Cities producer is filming on the scrapping obsession.
I guess they even have parties that last all weekend. I said, hey, I'm into that.
I'm Jason Davis. Come along and meet Minnesotans crazy for scrapbooking.
When we go on the road, there's a place I want to see. When we go on the road, why don't you come with me? Take a little ride, get a little windshield time. When we go on the road.
It used to be that scrapbooks were haphazard affairs, thrown together on the kitchen table and promptly forgotten. Today, they are a national obsession, an industry, even a way of life for hundreds of thousands of hobbyists around the country. This is Mementos, a popular haven for scrapbookers in Waconia, Minnesota, where you can buy all kinds of colorful paper, unusual embellishments, fancy tools, and even learn a tip or two. But as you will see tonight, there's a lot more to this activity than just putting memories in a book. On a rural road near Motley, Minnesota, we found the first house built in Minnesota for scrapbookers only. When Lorna Clefsis and her husband took the plunge a couple of years ago, it was a gamble.
When we first started it, we said if we could rent it 2 weekends a month, we could pay for all the expenses.
When it was finished, the house had several dormitory-style bedrooms upstairs and a tastefully designed lounge room downstairs. But it's rare to find anyone hanging out in these spaces. They're all in the lower level, scrapbooking.
We're booked every weekend for the next 12 months, and then I averaged one group a week on top of that. I mean, it's beyond anything I ever could have dreamed of.
This busy and colorful scene is being repeated at retreats all over Minnesota, all over the country. Mostly women getting together to put together books full of mementos to share with their families. But that's only part of the story.
We just love to laugh, and the sisterhood of it is really the piece that is missing in our everyday lives.
Just be there with the other women, and it's very important.
We love to just talk to each other and enjoy each other's company while we do it.
They will sit like this for hours, sometimes days, talking, laughing, even crying together as they share their life stories with each other.
I've seen women stay up all night and not go to bed.
But even scrapbookers have to eat, and they take good care of themselves in that department. Potluck meals are feasts, but fast. Before you can say scrapbook, the women are back at their workstations digging into their mountains of supplies. Seeing what these women have brought with them, it's no surprise to learn that this is a multi-billion-dollar business. Gone are the days of simply pasting pictures and clippings in simple photo albums. Jackie Boxrud has her own store in Mora, Minnesota, but she says she's an avid scrapbooker just like everybody else.
The business that you had a passion for.
An expensive passion. Jackie says the average scrapbooker spends between $17 and $20 a week on supplies, but she had one customer who came in and spent
$400 in one hit.
Any respectable scrapbooker is expected to have at least one or as many as 3 huge portable storage units to haul supplies. Inside the canvas bags are boxes, trays, and folders packed with costly goodies.
It is full of stickers. There's probably $300 or $400 of stickers in just the binder. I'm guessing somewhere in about $300 in here.
You've got a store in front of you.
This is like, you know, maybe a tenth.
A tenth
Yeah.
of what you got
Maybe.
just for scrapbooking.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist trying a little stamping. It was fun.
Do you want to try something else?
No,
No?
I don't want to get hooked. And if anyone runs out of something, this retreat even has its own store. It is mesmerizing to watch these women put their lives in books. Krista Otterson says she's always thinking of how events in her family's life will look in her scrapbook.
So I journal, and then I take pictures in story form, and then I put them in smaller books. It's helping me and my children remember a special time.
It's easy to see why this hobby has taken off like it has. After all, we all have a tale to tell.
What it does for somebody in terms of connectedness to your past, to other people, to your life experiences, it adds value. What I have to say and what I have to preserve and what I have to pass on, it really matters.
After what you've just seen, you won't be surprised to learn that scrapbooking is big business. And some people say the company that started it all began right here in Minnesota. It's called Creative Memories, and it's more than 90,000 sales consultants sell scrapbooking supplies to people around the world. It is the most tangible sign of their success. The brilliant white building that stands beside Interstate 94, just south of St. Cloud. It all began in a very small way in 1938, when a local printer perfected a unique binding system for loose-leaf albums. His name was Wilbur Webb Holmes, and his design became known as Webway. Metal loops are bound into the edges of each page, and a plastic lace holds the whole thing together. Almost 50 years later, Webway was teetering on bankruptcy, and the parent company sent in sales and marketing expert Cheryl Lytle to rescue it. Letters from enthusiastic consumers told her the product was still in demand.
I've looked everywhere. Please help me find my albums.
Then, in 1987, Cheryl got a call from a talkative and enterprising customer named Rhonda Anderson, who suggested that Webway forget about selling the albums in stores.
I really believed it was a great idea to sell the albums direct sales where you can demonstrate them.
Cheryl and Rhonda were definitely onto something, but they had no idea how big their idea would become.
You ready for some fun? All right, here we go. There are
Today, more than 90,000 independent sales consultants throughout the world have the exclusive right to sell Creative Memories products. This is the only way you can buy them. They're not sold in stores. After nearly 70 years, Wilbur's simple invention is the basis of this employee-owned business that has annual sales of more than $425 million.
There were things to put in pictures, but there weren't a lot of ways to display the memorabilia or to even tell your story.
Well, there is now. The people at Creative Memories make 3.5 million albums a year. Their industry has become so technologically sophisticated, they can create a personalized scrapbook cover in just minutes. They also produce a bewildering array of pages, paper, adhesives, tapes, letters, pens, stickers, cards, cutters, paints, and other materials to make scrapbooking more colorful and more fun. And all of these products are tested in a huge lab run by super enthusiastic scientist, Dr. Mark Meisen.
It's really interesting the amount of science that's behind even basic products like scrapbooks. The first thing that we do when we get any new product is we analyze what materials it's made of. The drop shape analyzer allows us to determine the compatibility between adhesives. Over here we have our gas chromatograph mass spectrometer, buffering, pH, lignin type tests. We want to ensure that our paper will be long-lasting and durable and will not harm any of the materials that are put in them.
Cheryl Lytle has watched this company grow from 2 people with an idea to a multi-million-dollar industry. And its premise is so simple.
Even though people say a picture's worth 1,000 words, I believe a picture is worthless without the words.
The great thing about scrapbooks is they are as individual as you are. Coming up, meet the Twin Cities filmmaker who's capturing this mania for scrapping, as they call it, on the silver screen. With words, pictures, and pretty papers, you'll see how one cropping pro tells our story. And did you know there's an entire sisterhood of scrappers? We're there when they go wild.
Those were the days, my friend, we thought.
We're back with our on-the-road look at Minnesotans passionate about scrapbooking. Most scrapbookers are women, but there are a few men that try to preserve their memories. A guy from Minnetonka has an unusual, you could even say macho approach to this somewhat sentimental hobby.
I'm a man. I spell M-A-N.
Wes Thompson is a man with a mission.
Now I'm ready to do some scrapping.
And he's looking for some action. Not far away in Plymouth, about 100 eager women are gathering at a hotel, unloading their SUVs packed with huge suitcases, crates, carriers, storage boxes, even tool chests. They're filled to the brim for a hobby they go crazy for, scrapbooking.
We don't have a lot of time today. We just have 12 hours, and so we don't have, I know, I'm sorry.
This sorority of scrapbookers is 6 months old and 200 members strong with a tongue-in-cheek name, Delta Phi Scrapper. New members they call pledges wear beanies and memorize the group motto, to live, love, scrap, and be acid-free. They take the living part of that motto to heart. And as the ladies revel in their passion by visiting, eating, and sometimes even scrapping, a lone man enters their domain.
Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about.
Don't be fooled by the tough act. Wes Thompson is really a sensitive guy who wants to learn from these exuberant females why they love their hobby so much.
So audio's good and everything? Yeah. Great.
He's making a movie about scrapbooking with a macho point of view.
You know, a friend of mine says that she likes to scrapbook because she can buy cool tools, cut stuff up, and assemble parts. I guess they even have parties that last all weekend. I said, hey, I'm into that. The angle is that I'm this kind of caveman guy trying to approach this finesse activity of scrapbooking.
Wes is an independent media producer who edits his projects at home, puts them on DVD, and sells them on the internet. He's managed to raise enough money himself to finance this feature-length movie that he calls an entertaining yet informative docudrama.
It's a tough sell to your wife to say, you know what, can we have a second mortgage on our house so I can have $60,000 to make a movie about scrapbooking for guys? Do you ever do bike drag racing scrapbooks?
Well, you can do whatever you want to.
Be honest with me, have you ever cut somebody out of a picture because you didn't like them?
Yeah, I have.
All right.
A female friend convinced Wes to tap into the skyrocketing popularity of scrapbooking. Wes decided to go for the unconventional approach.
So I figured, hey, how hard can it be?
It didn't take long for this inventive filmmaker to be a hit at this photo cropping event.
1, 2, 3.
I'm just learning how to have people in my personal space.
And although his antics make them laugh, he takes his subject matter very seriously.
I want to make something where scrapbookers see it and they walk out and they're like, yes, I'm a scrapbooker, and just, yeah!
You can't help catching the fever when you're around these scrappers. Coming up, we'll show you how one expert put together our first on-the-road book of memories. And sometimes a scrapbook just isn't big enough.
This is a show about a woman and who she is and how she feels.
See what one small Minnesota town did with their letters and artwork from a pen pal named Mary.
I have a photograph, preserve your memories.
Sometimes scrapbooks can take on a life of their own and become works of art, and they're not always just books. In one remarkable case we found back in 1998, they can come by mail. With a population of less than 1,000 people, it's surprising to find a sculpture park on the outskirts of New York Mills, Minnesota. It's amazing to find this little town boasts its own culture center, complete with programs that attract people like Mary Carruthers, who lives in Piqua, Ohio. Mary wrote to the center offering her services as an artist who likes to create her own highway signs, and then she wrote again. The letters from Mary kept coming and the enclosures started getting a little strange, but it wasn't until the curators here got this package full of such bizarre material that they realized they were no longer dealing with correspondence. They were dealing with a work of art.
And we both said, this is now worthy of an exhibit.
An exhibit consisting entirely of hundreds of items, all received by the Cultural Center from Mary by mail.
Postcard from Middle America.
A deluge of seemingly random thoughts, messages, musings, poetry, montages, scrapbooks, postcards, and letters.
June 6, 1997. The only problem with being in the rat race is that no matter if you win or lose, you're still a rat. Loneliness is like a religion here. Mary Carruthers, January 96.
A seemingly endless stream of material. Hundreds of items that have been arriving at the New York Mills post office at the rate of about 2 a week.
And here we have today's letter from Mary.
One day they found a stack of artifacts on the front step.
We didn't see her or hear her, except for several days later we got a chiding postcard in the mail.
Next time, it will be your water tower. Love, Mary.
Everyone who sees this extraordinary exhibit gets to know a lot about Mary Carruthers and her whimsical view of life and art. But no one knows her.
It might ruin it all if we were to meet her.
Cups, rattlesnakes, breakdowns, simple peace and beauty. I'll send the letter. Mary.
If you'd like more information about any of the stories you've seen tonight, just go to our website at kstp.com, scroll down on the left and look for On the Road. When we come back, On the Road gets cropped and scrapped.
Memories like the corners of my mind.
As we started to put this program together, the temptation to begin our own scrapbook was irresistible. But we had a lot of help from a scrapping pro. All scrapbooks are born just like this On the Road program was. They begin with an idea.
Jason had said that he found the idea of passing on 94, the Creative Memory sign. So I went down 94 and took a picture.
Since she was a teenager, scrapbook designer Julie Herity Weidenborner of Princeton, Minnesota, has been putting together these paper and cardboard treasure chests of memories.
I love to tell stories.
With hundreds of photographs to choose from, she carefully built each page to show how we created this special half hour on Minnesotans and their love for scrapbooking.
What dictated the page layout, and I usually do a 2-page layout, is the number of pictures and then the colors in the picture, or what I really wanted to portray. Working with odd numbers helps give the page balance, and then the balance of weight of objects. For instance, this larger item and this larger item balances the 2-page spread.
Using some 50 photos, eye-catching details, and lively descriptions, Julie crafted a 25-page keepsake just for us. Thank you, Julie.
This page is at the end of the book, and I wanted to end it the same way that Jason ends his program. And then I incorporated a little interactive piece so that we can see Jason and Dave in the car, and then they're going away.
Did you know that 1 in 3 households in the United States has someone scrapbooking? It's more popular than golf, and it will probably be around just as long. I'm Jason Davis. Drive carefully, and we'll see you next week.
And at 9 o'clock the next morning, you're sleeping. We got what we needed to get done.